It's there to help you. It's there to make your life better. It's a tool that's at your disposal. So it's up to you to use it to serve your customers better.
Welcome to the Self-Insurance Podcast brought to you by CRMBC. Our guest today is Harsha Vashisht from Dyssonance AI, and today we're going to talk about AI. Harsha, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Self-Insurance Podcast.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, Harsha, before we dive in, we're going to talk today about AI. But before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about your background and make sure don't leave out what you did for Uber Eats?
Thank you, Kaya. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Dyssonance AI. We are a stealth startup right now, so I cannot speak much of it. Think of it as we're building a missing part of the AI brain. And before joining and starting Dyssonance, I was in Google for a long time, spent most of my time in AI ML, did something similar at Uber, helped start Uber Eats engineering, helped scale OpenDoor and Amazon and Yahoo back in the day.
This is a special treat to have Harsha talking to us today because Harsha and I actually met at Stanford, and he is obviously was one of the AI experts of our cohort. And in my world, we're a restaurant workers' compensation self-insured group, and the opinions and attitudes about AI run the gamut. To AI is going to ruin the world, it's the end of the world, to AI is a really great tool, to AI doesn't affect me. I own a restaurant. It's not a thing. And we know that all of these are true and that the truth is somewhere in the middle of all of these because AI is still an unknown landscape. It's still developing. But as we've talked about many times before, AI is not new. It's just new in the ways that it's being applied now. So we're going to have kind of a high level discussion about AI as it applies to restaurant operators and the brokers that listen to our podcast, but also how it can apply to different businesses. So first, I mean, you were working with AI back many years ago before it was mainstream and in the New York Times every day. So give us kind of a high level overview of what we think is this mystical thing that really isn't so mystical.
Yeah. Let me use Uber Eats as an example. And the reason I talk about it is because I can talk about a real world use case that we solved at Uber Eats. And now with all the new generative AI technologies, how significantly easier it would have been to do the same thing, right? And framing that in the context of running a restaurant business might be helpful. Uber Eats was the first time Uber had got into the business of delivering food. And as a result of that, they were scaling globally. And by doing that, we introduced live customer support as a problem. And Uber before that didn't do live customer support. Anytime anybody on an Uber needed to contact customer support, they would end the trip. It was always post-trip, and then somebody would look at it. And in the context of food delivery business, customers are hungry. And when the food is late, they're angry, and they need support. They're like, where is my food? I have a missing item. I have, where's my courier? And all the different questions. I want to add another dish that I forgot to add to my order. I think those were all some of the initial challenges that we were running into. So as a result of that, any new country that you would launch, you needed to, or Uber at that time had to set up a call center that spoke the particular language. For example, if you launched in Bangalore in India, you had to set up something in English, Hindi, which is not the national language, but it's a popular language like the national language, and then a regional language called Kannada. So if you launch in Brazil, you need to make sure that this language is supported, and also the accents kind of varied. So it was interesting. So the cost of setting up new centers, bringing up a team and having them do customer support was very, very expensive. So at one point, it was cheaper to give $10 off to everybody who created a ticket or contacted customer support than a human actually answering the call, taking an action, and then reviewing it. The cost was around $15 or $16 or something. And the goal to scale the business was to get it down to a couple of dollars and then reduce the defect rate or the number of customers reaching out to customer support significantly. And how was that done? Through AI ML. So one of the simplest things that people would do is, hey, if there's a gray area that falls in between, you don't know who is exactly at fault, and you want the customer to have a better experience, you would just give them a $5 off or refund the item. If they said there's a missing item, somebody has a history of 25, 30 orders, and this is the first time they said there's an item that's missing, you trust them, and then you would refund it. And there's somebody else who says that, hey, you know what, I've had a good experience, but then I'm having a missing order from one particular restaurant, and you know that one particular restaurant is problematic, and then you could use that information to automatically refund it. These are two simple use cases. And for us to do that, we had to look into all the data that was flowing in. We had a data scientist plus a backend engineer working on it who take the model, productionize it, and then deploy it. Today, to do the exact same thing with any of the Claude models or the GPT models or the Gemini models, and to wire that up is much, much faster. You just need one person and they can hook it up in a couple of hours. And something that took 1 or 2 months to fully roll out and validate it can be done in a couple of days.
So that's a massive shift in learning for us, is really kind of the exponential growth of this. That something that you said took a team a couple of months, now one person can do it in a couple of hours. And so talk to me a little bit about this exponential growth, and really that AI isn't just this magical answer. It's how you implement AI to solve your business problems. And in restaurant, one of the things that we deal with a lot is, operators are focused on their menu. They're focused on their labor costs. They're focused on the things that they know and bring them the most value right up front. And sometimes it's hard to work on your business when you're working in your business. And so we're seeing a lot of ways that AI, it's not going to replace workers right away. Robotics is slowly starting to take different functions, but really one of the ways to look at AI is how can it help with looking at data and making decisions about your restaurant using AI? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yep. At some point, I hope that there will be robots making food, and then that reduces the cost of making healthy, fresh food. And then that, as a result of that, the number of people who have access to fresh and healthy food will significantly grow. I have invested in a company called Zoop.ai as one of the angel investors there. And they are doing fast food for vending machines. So you'd go to an airport or a hospital and then say, I want a stir-fry tofu or a stir-fry chicken. And then you press the button, and then the machine will do it for you, prepare the food for you fresh, and then it will dispense it. And I think if I remember it, Travis Kalanick's new Cloud Kitchen is also in the business of where they want to apply AI to make it easy and convenient for people to get nutritious and healthy food at the click of a button, and they should get that in some time. But for this particular conversation, one interesting way to think of it is, how can we use AI to improve the experience of our customers? Right? I think the first way I would tackle this problem is to ask a Gemini or a Chat GPT saying that, hey, I am having this problem. How can you or AI help me to solve this problem? I think that is 50-60% of the problem. And it does a reasonable job of breaking it down, and depending on the model that you have and depending on the plan that you have, it does a decent job of giving you a plan of, here are a bunch of steps that you could do to tackle to make this better. And with something like Claude Work or Claude Cowork, you could use ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude to act and to help you build something for Cloud Cowork, which will go through your files, and it could look at traffic patterns, right? What are all my popular dishes? And I'm sure there's analytics baked into it already, and you can tie it up to say that, can you help me understand when am I getting bad reviews, right? And is it during a certain time of the week? Is it certain? It could be weekends because we are too busy. The experience goes down. Maybe that's an insight that can be helpful. Maybe you would want to staff more people. Or it could be on a particular weekday or Wednesday evenings is when we see the quality goes down. Maybe there is somebody who is in the shift during that particular time, which is affecting those reviews. I think those are interesting insights that you can tease out. And when you bounce ideas with this chatbot to help you think through the problem, it'll give you a couple of options. And then you would give access to the files on your system. It will do the homework for you, and then say, here are a couple of options that I think could be causing the problem. And then you could work with it to help solve the problem. The beauty of it is that you can have an agent doing this work for you almost all the time. You could say, I want an agent that is looking at all the reviews across Google Maps, Yelp, and other platforms. And anytime something funny happens that is like, let's say you have 4 stars or 4.5 stars, anything that goes down, I want you to be a bit more mindful, tease out and understand the patterns and help me understand what's going on. You would be able to do that. You could also say, you can have another agent to say that, hey, keep an eye out on all the other Italian restaurants in this particular neighborhood, right? And see how they are performing. So if you need any sort of market intelligence, you could have an agent that's running on a daily basis, and every time you wake up in the morning, or you can configure it whenever you want, it'll send you an email or an iMessage or a WhatsApp message saying that, hey, here's what I see, here's the intelligence that I have for you. And it could be reviews, it could be menu, it could be any problem that you're facing. You describe it, you have an agent which will work for you nonstop on a daily basis, and then you get a notification where you can look at what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and then you could give feedback and you can update it. And it can also get to a point where, like, you can have a loop that is automatically running, where it says that review goes down, I need to ping somebody and encourage them to have better service or have more patience or whatever else it might be. You can have that loop that's going. So you have this AI agent that is working for you all the time. So it's one example. There are multiple examples that we can expand to.
And the interesting thing about agents, even just probably in the last year, the idea of having an agent work for you meant hiring someone else to create the agent. And now with the tools the way they are, I can go on Claude Cowork and create my own agents, which is something that I think a lot of people are learning, but there's still a lot of people that seems so out of their realm of reality, and probably by the time this airs, it's going to be even further along. Not probably, it absolutely will. Another thing I wanted to talk about is prompting. Because some people understand, some people don't, that AI isn't inherently intelligent. It's just, it's answering and responding based on the codes that were built into it. So if you don't use the right prompts and good prompts, it's kind of garbage in, garbage out. And there's whole classes taught on prompting and whole degrees you can get just on prompting. Can you talk to us a little bit about prompting, what it is, what it means, and what are good prompts that someone could use to get the result that they want?
Yeah. I'll give you my strategy, which takes care of 80% of the problems, which is I give the prompt and then I explain what I want to do to Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude, and I ask it to make it better for me. So I say, I need you to help. I want you to improve this prompt. And I give the prompt in quotes and then say, I am trying to achieve this. And then the bot, ChatGPT or Gemini, thinks about it for a couple of seconds and then gives me a much more detailed prompt. Sometimes the prompt can be 1 or 2 pages. or it could be a couple of paragraphs or a few sentences. So it does a pretty good job of improving the prompt, and that takes care of 80-90% of the use cases for me. There are times where I spend more time iterating on the prompt. One other interesting thing is I take the suggestions and the feedback from Gemini, I give to ChatGPT, and whatever I get from ChatGPT, I give it to Gemini. I use a couple of agents, and then I bounce it around, and then I ask for feedback and make it better. And usually that takes care of like 90-95% of the things that I would want to do.
Very interesting. Yeah, one of the prompts that I use a lot is putting the persona in the prompt. So saying to the Claude or Gemini, "You are the owner of a restaurant."
Yes.
And now how say I've already solved this problem. What are the steps that I took to solve this problem? It's such a minor shift, but it gives you a whole different answer versus just saying, what do I need to do to increase my sales? But it doesn't give them the right framework to answer it, in the best possible answer.
That's 100% what you said. I kind of brushed it under the carpet saying that give the additional context. The more you tell about who you are and what you want to do, and you can add it as part of a system prompt. And I think these days, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, they remember who you are. They remember the context about you. They try to surface it by themselves. But it would be interesting for you to say that I am a restaurant owner and I am based out of Reno. And here are the challenges that I face, and here's what I'm trying to solve. And can you help me do this? And giving that context is really helpful. One other thing that I find it helpful is to say, explain your work and show your work. And that also does a pretty good job of following a lot of structure and gives you confidence in why it's thinking through that way, and then what the answer that it's giving you that makes sense. So using that combination, give a lot of context about what you're trying to do and who you are, and ask it to make the prompt better, and take that prompt and then run it for you to get the outcome that you want.
And you talked briefly about providing the information to the AI to run it in different ways. So, for example, restaurant operators get a lot of information from their POS system. So, being able to put that information to the POS system and then parse it really in different ways. But my question for you is, what about people that are worried about the security of doing that?
That is true. But I trust Google and ChatGPT. You can turn off the setting in a way where you don't want the data to be used for training. And most of the chat-based applications, if you're going with a Google, if you're going with Microsoft, or if you're going with ChatGPT or Claude, they do their due diligence to make sure that the policies are followed from a data standpoint. And if you explicitly said or configured in a way that data should not be used for downstream training, then it doesn't.
And the value that you can get from putting that data in, and to your point, learning about your operations in a much deeper way that you can't get just from looking at your POS data, or even looking at how you're approaching your social media targets. And, for years doing advertising on social media, you never knew if you were getting any ROI, but everyone still does it. But there's ways now that you can use AI to post at the right times, to post the right things, to use the right words, and to actually go out and search who else is posting, which ones are working, which ones are actually driving business. That completely changes the face of places where we're just throwing away money, and now we actually know what our money is doing.
Yes. For example, if you say you have a Valentine's Day, you're planning a special menu, and you're planning something special, so you could go talk to Gemini or ChatGPT and saying that, hey, I am in this city, I run this particular restaurant, and I am planning a Valentine's Day special. Can you help me come up with a social media marketing plan? And it does a pretty decent job of looking at it. And then you can further ask more questions, saying that, can you go tease out what has worked well in other restaurants in my city, or it could be across different cities, so that you can go tease out more information so they can build more confidence in the approach that it's taking. That's something that you could do. And going back to the security conversation that we are talking about, right? at a high level, these models kind of know what are all the different point of sale systems that are there, and the data that you would tease out, it's essentially doing some pattern matching and then trying to figure out or make some sense of the data and then give you some patterns based on the analysis it does. I don't know if there is a secret sauce in a way where they could steal that. And I don't think of it that way. I don't think that's the intent. If anybody feels that, if any of these internet companies feel like they're stealing the secret sauce, then they'll be out of business in a couple of days. People will stop using them. And I don't think they intend to do that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, Harsha, I love this. You gave really good, down to earth, actionable guidance for people that are maybe not using AI in their daily life, but and for our members, which are mostly restaurant and then brokers, this was a very useful, helpful conversation. I thank you very much for your time, and I would love to have you back on the podcast again.
Thank you, Kaya. It's been really helpful. I know I'm a big foodie. So I really appreciate the business. And I know when I was in the early days of Uber Eats, I have spoken to hundreds of restaurant owners and then about their pain points about running the business. So I have a lot of empathy for the challenges that you face on a daily basis. So I really enjoyed the conversation, and I hope I can be more helpful in the future as well.
Harsha, if you could sum up in one or two sentences what you want our viewers to know about AI, what would it be?
It's there to help you. It's there to make your life better. It's a tool that's at your disposal. So it's up to you to use it to serve your customers better. The thing that I would do is use it as a friend, give the context, tell them who you are, what type of business you're trying to run, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, and then ask a Gemini or a ChatGPT to help you. Say that, how can you help me? Use it as a buddy. And the more you talk to it, the more helpful it's going to be. Even if you don't know how it's going to help you, ask it how it can help you, and it'll help you. And ask it to make your prompts better, and it'll make it better for you.
Thank you, Harsha.
Thank you, Kaya.
For more webinar sessions and resources, visit us at crmbc.com. And if you have an idea for another topic, email us at info@crmbc.com.